Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the channel. It has been quite a while since I've uploaded, but hey ho. Now this channel has mainly focused on video games, so playing games like The Last of Us. I will be playing The Last of Us Part 2, it is coming. I know I said it months ago, but it is on its way. I recently did a video playing Far Cry 3. However, there has been a pressing issue that has come to my attention, and that is the state of Chelsea Football Club. This season has been an interesting one for sure. We ended last season, it was a little bit ropey. We didn't really know if we were going to get top 4 or not. I think towards the end it got a bit close, but we ended up getting top 4. We ended up securing our place, so we have Champions League season for this year confirmed. But the pre-season started off quite unsettled, let's say, under Tuchel. So we started off our pre-season with a 2-1 win against Club America. And then we drew 1-1 with Charlotte FC and then lost on penalties. You might be thinking, who was playing that game? Well, we had people like Pulisic and Ziyech and Kovacic and Jorginho and Callum Hudson-Odoi and Thiago Silva and Reece James and Edouard Mendy all playing that game, and yet we couldn't get a win against Charlotte FC. And the next game, we got absolutely fucking thumped by Arsenal 4-0. Unbelievable. We then went on to win our last pre-season game 3-1 against Udinese, with goals coming from N'Golo Kante, Raheem Sterling and Mason Mount in the 90th minute. We started the season off in an interesting manner. It was a boring 1-0 win against Everton FC. I remember that game being quite cagey. Everton came out to play. Frank Lampard definitely brought a sense of vigour into his Everton team, but we managed to pull a win with a Jorginho penalty just before the second, or just before the end of the first half. We then drew 2-2 to Tottenham in a very controversial game, a game muddled with poor refereeing decisions and VAR calls. Kai Havertz was fouled while on the ball, while we were attacking, and the referee said play on. And then from that winning back of possession, Tottenham scored their goal. If the referee had been consistent and had called the foul a foul, they would never have received possession and we wouldn't have conceded. The same could be said for the second goal. The second goal came after, I think it was Romero, had decided to pull our new left-back, Cucurella, by the hair, drag him to the ground, and Dean Smith, the bold man who was on VR, said, wave it off, and then they went on to their corner and scored from a Harry Kane header. And we dropped 2 points that game, in a game that we really should have got all 3. Following that result, we then got absolutely fucking hammered by Leeds 3-0, with mistakes coming from Edouard Mendy and just being outplayed all over the park. The lads looked tired, they looked exhausted, they didn't want to be out there, and we lost 3-0. So that's 3 points dropped there. We then went on to beat Leicester 2-1, with both goals coming from Raheem Sterling, but a goal coming back in the 66th minute from Ashley Barnes. Not Ashley Barnes, Harvey Barnes, sorry. Who's Ashley Barnes? I don't know. I think I'm getting Ashley Cole mixed up. And then we lost 2-1 to Southampton, who are currently 20th. They're currently bottom place in the table with 12 points. And we lost to them. They got a quarter of their points from us. Following that result, we managed to beat West Ham 2-1 with goals coming from Ben Chilwell and Kai Havertz after going 1-0 down to Antonio. Then we followed that up with a loss against Dynamo Zagreb. And this would be the end of Tuchel's spell at Chelsea, coming after a 3-0 loss to Leeds, a 2-1 loss to Southampton, and a 1-0 loss to Dynamo Zagreb. So in his last 5 games, he managed to get 2 wins and 3 losses, which is bad, but it's nothing compared to what's going on right now. And that was a sackable enough offence for Tuchel back then. And I know there were other things going on behind the scenes. You know, the Ronaldo transfer didn't transpire how the owners wanted. But surely with hindsight, and you look at the amount of damage that Ronaldo's caused to his own career with that interview with Piers Morgan, and where he is now playing in the Saudi League for Al Nassr, it would not have been the right choice for Chelsea. In Graham Potter's first game, it was a 1-1 draw against RB Salzburg in the Champions League. That was a very boring game with goals coming from Raheem Sterling and Okafor in the 75th minute. If I remember correctly, that was quite a sloppy goal to give away. We then went on to beat Crystal Palace 2-1 with goals from Aubameyang and a late winner from Conor Gallagher. It was a very good goal against his former club, but it was a late winner. We then went on to comfortably beat AC Milan 3-0, also beating Wolves the following game 3-0. And in our away game against AC Milan, we won 2-0 with goals coming from Jorginho and Aubameyang, celebrating his goal with the famous front flip. The game after that, we beat Aston Villa 2-0, with both goals coming from Mason Mount. And at this point, you're thinking, hey, Tuchel was the wrong answer. Look at Graham Potter. Look at all the great results he's getting in. Well, this was something called a honeymoon period that most managers have when they first join a club. We then went on to draw 0-0 against Brentford. Again, following our next match, we drew again to Manchester United with a goal coming from Jorginho in the 87th minute, and then a sloppy defensive bottle job allowing Casemiro to score in the 90 plus 4 minutes. We then went on to beat RB Salzburg 2-1. Goals coming from Mateo Kovacic and Kai Havertz. You'd expect us to beat RB Salzburg. They are in the Austrian League and we are in the Premier League. The difference in quality is phenomenal. However, following that result, Graham Potter's Chelsea got absolutely ran off the park by Brighton. Now, thankfully, I wasn't able to watch this match. But, unbelievable. So we had a goal from Trossard, we had 2 own goals from Loftus-Cheek and Chalobah, and a goal from Pascal Gross. And Kai Havertz managed to get one back in the 48th minute. But we were absolutely played off the park. Here we go. 2.44 expected goals for Brighton. They had 19 shots to our 15. They had 9 on target to our 7. Just ridiculous stuff. We then managed to bounce back with a win against Dynamo Zagreb from 2 goals coming from Raheem Sterling and Denis Zakaria. However, then everything went to shit. We lost 1-0 to Arsenal at Stamford Bridge. We lost 2-0 to Manchester City, knocking us out of the EFL Cup. We then lost 1-0 to Newcastle. And then we lost 1-0 to Aston Villa in a club-friendly match. But hey-ho, we then beat Bournemouth 2-0. However, that would be more impressive if Bournemouth weren't currently mid-table, below mid-table. They're 15th, on the same points as Everton. And Leeds have more points than them. Leicester have more points than them. Fucking Aston Villa. So it's not like a crowning achievement. It's not like beating a Newcastle or a Man City or a Liverpool or even a fucking West Ham. Although we did beat West Ham, but still, you're not getting... that was during our honeymoon period. And then, our most recent performance, where we lost... Well, I was about to say where we lost 1-1 to Nottingham Forest. We drew 1-1 to Nottingham Forest. And yeah, some people may say, oh, but Reece James wasn't playing. You should still be able to beat Nottingham... Chelsea Football Club should be able to beat Nottingham Forest without Reece James. But no. I've seen many arguments against being Potter out. You got to trust the process. How are you supposed to let a manager grow and develop his team if you don't give him time? What process? What is he trying to do? I can't see it. If you want to say, oh, he's trying to bring through the youth, then why is he not playing them? He brought in Carney Chukwuemeka for a little cameo appearance, but he left players like Lewis Hall, who when he played against Manchester City, he was unbelievable, and he left Amari Hutchinson, one of our best young talents that we brought over from the Arsenal Academy. He's touted to be incredibly talented, and yet he's just left to rot on the bench. He's not allowing the players that he's brought in a chance to really develop. He's just let them sit on the bench, while players like Jorginho, who, again, a great player, but Jorginho, who's more than likely going to leave at the end of this season, he's letting him play. He's letting him play instead of giving players, as I said, like Carney Chukwuemeka, a starting chance, not just a little 10-15 minute cameo, a starting role. And then if midfield needs control, bring on Jorginho then. But they can't develop with little 5-10 minute cameos against a side that's already broken down the team, and the team around them have lost complete morale, so they're not able to play to their best abilities. He left the substitutions way too late in the game, allowing for Nottingham Forest to walk all over us and pick up the easy point against Chelsea, who are now currently 8th. I was about to say 9th. We're 1 point above Brighton, so we're not 9th. We're 8th in the table. We're same points as Fulham. Liverpool above us, Tottenham, Man United, Newcastle, Man City, Arsenal. And we've played 16 games. Now, some of them do have a goal ahead of us, so a game ahead of us, sorry. So, Fulham have played 17, so we could go ahead of Fulham. Whoopie fucking do. But we're also on the same amount of games played as Liverpool, and they're above us. And they've had a terrible season. They've had a fucking shocking season. It's unbelievable. We're going to be busy in the January transfer window. We've already signed David Detro Fofana from Molde, who's going to be a pretty good striker for us. I don't know if we're going to have him in the club from the start. Sorry, I'd said that. I don't know if we're going to play him from the start or if we're going to loan him out. I'm probably going to loan him out, but these are issues that aren't going to be fixed for just signings. These are issues that have got to be fixed from the head up, from the manager. And, after each game, so it's become a bit of a meme for Chelsea Twitter at the moment, where, the lads gave it everything, the boys tried the best they could. And we were like, he's going to say something along the lines. No, he said something even fucking worse. Graham Potter, after the 1-1 draw against Nottingham Forest, he said, it's a hard-earned point against a team that set up well. Credit to them. They used the atmosphere and put us under a lot of pressure. And then he then went on to say something along the lines of, hang on, I'm actually just going to find the direct quote here. Here we go. He said this, I think it would have been unfair if we took more than a point. That is not the mentality of a manager coaching Chelsea Football Club. 2 times Champions League title winners, league winners, FA Cup winners. We should be at least making top 4 every season, and we're currently 8th. We're halfway through the season and we're 8th. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. And I don't see it improving, because how do you improve under a manager like Tuchel, where he can really rile them up and get them going and get the rhythm going again in the middle of the season? I'd have a bit more faith. But with Graham Potter, I've seen nothing to suggest that. I've seen absolutely nothing. And he went to California for his holiday during the Christmas break and the World Cup. And he said, while my wife is looking over... this isn't a direct quote, but he said, while my wife is looking over at the Pacific Ocean, I'm thinking about Chelsea. Well, he didn't think hard enough. If you think about Chelsea, maybe think about how to actually play this team to get the best results instead of bloody drawing 1-1 to Nottingham fucking Forest. The point is, Graham Potter just isn't the right guy for the job. And this isn't being reactionary. What has he done? He managed Östersunds. I think he won a cup with them, which is a great achievement. But it's Östersunds against other Norwegian teams. It's not against the Liverpools, the Man Cities, the Arsenals now, or the Newcastles. He then went to Swansea and did alright with them. But then he went to Brighton, and he managed to get them from, I think, relegation or near relegation to mid-table, which is okay. But at Brighton, he had a 31% win percentage. Do you know how low that is? I understand it's Brighton, but then if he's this great manager, then why is it not at least 40% or maybe 50%? They don't play top 4 teams week in, week out. They're playing other mid-table and below them and below the belt teams. So surely you think they'd be picking up points against them if he's such a great manager and he set up the team in such a way. No. The previous manager, Brighton, had a higher win percentage. It's ridiculous. He's had no experience in Champions League football. He's had no experience fighting for a top 4 position. He's just not the right guy. These quotes... This is the first time he's had a job in this high level position of playing the Champions League football, and we got Man City coming up next, and we've got Borussia Dortmund. Borussia Dortmund are going to walk all over us, and he'll say, "Oh, the boys did everything." It's ridiculous. Now, I know that the owners have put a lot of stock into Graham Potter, but they really need to just stop and think, hang on, have we made a mistake here? Is he really the right guy to go forward? Is he really the right guy to grab Chelsea by the helm and drag them to a top 4, or even to fight, not this season obviously, but drag them to a fighting for a league title spot. I don't think he is. I've seen nothing to suggest that he could be. There's nothing of his history. I mean, you can look at Tuchel when we first signed him when he was at PSG. Managed to get to a bloody Champions League final. And it was only a poor performance by Neymar and Mbappe on the day that they didn't pick up a Champions League final then, Champions League final title then, or Champions League. There are a few candidates for the Chelsea manager role. I can't believe I'm already saying this. It's the 2nd of January, and he's already let us down this badly. But I've got no choice. There's nothing to suggest this team's going to get any better. He's not said anything to give me any sort of hope. Tuchel would have said it. Tuchel would have worn it on his sleeve. That was an embarrassing performance from us. This is not what Chelsea should be playing. This is not the level Chelsea should be playing at. I am sorry we played like that. I will do better. I know how to do better. This won't happen again. When fucking Graham Potter's like, yeah, they did great. In fact, they deserved all 3 points. We actually didn't deserve anything. Oh well, on to the next one, lads. There's no similarities. You can't compare the two. And so I think that a manager of the caliber of Zinedine Zidane would be perfect for Chelsea. Yes, Zinedine Zidane is currently unemployed at the moment. I did read an article recently saying why he was opposed to joining Chelsea or any other English clubs is because his English isn't quite perfect. But half our squad doesn't speak English, or half our squad English isn't their first language either. And football, it's a lot more. You can get a translator in or something. There's ways around it. There's ways around it. You've got to get a talented. Translator. There are ways to get around the language barrier, including learning English, which you could quite easily do. A lot of players do it, and he's not an idiot. He's quite a smart man. He's let's have a look at his accomplishments because he managed Real Madrid. Oh, hang on. Fabrizio Romano's tweeted. This is live. Breaking news while I'm recording this. Fabrizio Romano has just tweeted an update in the Mudryk situation. Obviously, Arsenal are looking to sign, and this is going to be a very quick part of the video. But Arsenal have improved their proposal to sign Mykhailo Mudryk, confirmed, as talks are on after €40 million plus 20 million bid rejected. Hashtag Arsenal Football Club. It's up to Shakhtar now, as Yehor reported. Chelsea are interested in Mudryk in case Arsenal deal collapses. Arsenal Football Club remain priority. I reckon he's going to go to Arsenal. I don't think we've got any chance for him. I'd much rather we sign Rafael Leao. Here we go. So this is what Zidane has accomplished as the Real Madrid manager. This is coming from therealchamps.com. His trophy collection as a manager includes 3 Champions League titles, 2 La Liga titles, 2 Supercopa de la España titles, 2 Club World Cups, 2 UEFA Super Cups. If he would, this is coming from the article, I'm just reading out loud, if he would have continued as Real Madrid manager, he could have beat Miguel Munoz's record for winning 14 trophies as a manager and become the undisputed best. He would be perfect for Chelsea. Do you know why? One, he has extremely well-respected experience and the top echelons of world football. He comes from Real Madrid. He doesn't come from Brighton. He comes from Real fucking Madrid. He's unemployed at the moment. He's perfect. He's right for the taking. He's right there. All those titles, all that experience, and you're gonna believe he's charismatic. He's not gonna just sit there in the change rooms at half time while the team leads. His team is like 1-0 down, and the players are on their phones and their heads are drooping and they just look tired. He's not just gonna sit there and be like, "Well, the boys gave it their best." He's gonna be standing there. He's gonna be fucking shout at them. It's gonna be like Pep Guardiola. He's gonna be unbelievable. He will turn this team around and he get the players believing that what they're capable of getting, and he's going to get them playing to their best ability. It looks like Zidane played a 4-3-3 most of the time when he was at, or maybe a 4-2-3, 4-2-3-1 inverted kind of 4-2-3-1. But we had a back four of Marcelo, Ramos, Varane, and Dani Carvajal. Midfield pairing of Casemiro, the more deep lying number 6, along with Toni Kroos next to him, a more kind of roaming midfield 8. That would be filled by Enzo Fernandez, and Declan Rice to fill the Casemiro role. Then you've got James Rodriguez in front of them. That could be either Christopher Nkunku or Mason Mount or someone like that. You got Eden Hazard on the left. That could be Rafael Leao. You got Gareth Bale on the right. That could be Raheem Sterling, and you got Karim Benzema. That could be either David Detro Fofana. See, in the future, see how he does with his development, or it could be someone like Dusan Vlahovic, or it could be another striker we're looking at, maybe Ivan Toney. It would work. We're stuck with this pop guy when Zidane's right there. It would be so good. God's sake, man. God's sake. I'm telling you right now, Zidane, we can't go wrong with him.